Finally, the Sunday Mirror and police raided a Russian gay bar. I mean, that's got to be a tough thing to do without getting mistaken for strippers, Nicholas.
Russian cops raid Moscow gay bars as Putin's Supreme Court declares LGBTQ plus extremist. So, essentially, the Russian Justice Ministry has filed a lawsuit with the Russian Supreme Court, and they have sentenced or deliberated favorably, declaring the LGBTQ, all the rest of it, as an extremist organization, okay? There's so many letters in my defense mentioning them all in one breath, but you know what I mean. I wonder why. I wonder why the Russian government has declared war on LGBTQ plus movement. Have they been trying to, impose their ideology upon impressionable kids and, getting people fired from their jobs? Because that's not likely of them. Has that ever happened to you? Does it ring a bell?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure that's been happening in Russia. It seems like Putin is doing this to sort of rattle the cage and show his anybody who might be following him. He's got elections next year. That I stand for family values, which is all nonsense. He stands for mass immigration, the Islamification of Russia. They've got falling fertility rates. They've got the highest abortion rates in Europe. They've got the highest HIV
and an ongoing war as well, for which they need masculinity and soldiers.
And his war enables this domestic repression. The war wouldn't be continuing if it wasn't for the fact that his people around him are now making, his close coterie of affiliates are now making so much money off the war, of this war economy. And the war has actually pushed up the price of oil, and it's actually been great for his criminal enterprise. So yeah, this is a bit of a sort of signal to people that, I stand up for family values. This is a war against the West, and I think the West is actually hurting gay people in other countries, in Uganda, in China, and in Russia, by making LGBT values about going into schools and doing all this, because then people in Russia can say, look what they're doing in the West, it's horrific, and then they've got an excuse.
And you can't fault him for that, can you?
You can.
I think I beg to differ. Yeah, I can. And what's bizarre is they're still denying it. Russian authorities reject accusations of LGBT plus discrimination. So on the one hand, they're clearly discriminating. They've made it illegal to transition. I mean, we hear so much about transphobia. That's transphobic.
Yeah.
So I don't understand why they deny it. It's so obviously.
But what I was, maybe to rephrase myself, when we see what Leo just described, like the LGBT ideology, the cancel culture, the going into schools, the transgender storytelling time for primary kids, the parades where we see the whole Regent Street has been draped in LGBTQ flags and so on, then we are giving ammunition to Putin, telling his people, look, this is the LGBT movement. So there's a difference between being gay and trying to impose that lifestyle or values or ideology onto people as impressionable as young kids.
Yeah, absolutely.